Don't ask for this video, so I'm just coming in to give it to you. This is about getting credentialed. Once you become a nurse practitioner, you have to get what is called credentialed. These are the things that I know about getting credentialed. I've had to get credentialed at several different hospitals at this point. So I have a little bit of experience going through this, so I'm here to share the knowledge that I have with you guys. And if you're new here, my name is Joy. I'm a neonatal nurse practitioner living here in Houston. I make nursing content, nurse practitioner content, nursing lifestyle content. If that sounds interesting to you, please go ahead and push that subscribe button so that you can join the community, because I make videos for you guys. As I experience it, I give the knowledge to you. Okay, so you finished nurse practitioner school, you passed boards, and now you're looking at a stack of credentialing paperwork. Mind you, before I became a nurse practitioner, nobody had ever talked to me about being credentialed. My program didn't talk about it. Preceptors didn't talk about it. I did not even know this was a thing. So if this is new to you, leave me a comment and let me know if this is new to you. But you have to get credentialed at every facility that you work at. If you're anything like me, you have no idea what you are supposed to do with this paperwork that they send you. Don't worry, I'm gonna walk you through it. In the next 15 minutes, I'm gonna give you the step-by-step guide on how credentialing works as an NNP and what you need to do. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly why credentialing matters, the certification exam and your board's exam and what to expect, how to get your state nurse practitioner license, how to get your DEA, different hospital credentialing processes, and the paperwork you need to keep in order to make your credentialing easier. I was a NICU nurse for 2 years before going back to school to become a neonatal nurse practitioner. I have been practicing as a neonatal nurse practitioner for about 2.5 years now, so I'm still fairly new to the role, but I have been credentialed at several different hospitals at this point, and so I've been through the process over and over again. This process definitely feels overwhelming at first, and even now I just went through credentialing at another hospital and it is frustrating. It's like constant paperwork, mounds and mounds of paperwork, and you can just pretty much get sick of it really fast. And since you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure you are either close to the finish line of becoming a nurse practitioner, or you're thinking about becoming a nurse practitioner, so you're looking at what to expect when it comes to actually becoming a provider. So let's start with the beginning. Credentialing is the process that proves you are who you say you are to these hospitals that you want to work at. They want to know that you're actually qualified to be a nurse practitioner. It's not just one single thing, it's a series of steps that you have to take. And they have to happen in a specific order, girl. It's a lot. There's basically 4 steps. So first you need to take boards and pass boards. And then if you're moving to a different state than where you already are, you need to get your RN license in that state. And then you'll apply for your nurse practitioner license in that state. And then you'll apply for a DEA number in that state. And then after that, you'll go through your hospital credentialing process. And that gives you the privilege to actually work in that particular hospital. Each one of these steps build on the next step. So once you understand the process, it's really about the paperwork. I've handled harder things than paperwork, so it's really just frustrating because it's time consuming. That's why it's important to be organized, so just go ahead and start now. First things first, after you graduate, you will take boards. You will take the NCC exam. They're going to be the ones who certify you as a neonatal nurse practitioner, or NNP. Other nurse practitioner specialties have different certifying bodies. FNPs go through the ANCC or AANP. Psych NPs can go through the ANCC as well. So if you're an NP, your test is different and your certifying body is different, but the process is still similar. So first, as soon as you graduate, you need to apply for boards. Do not wait. I know a lot of people who are nervous. They feel like they're not ready. Child, you are never going to be ready. Do not wait to take boards. I gave myself 4 weeks. I scheduled myself 4 weeks out, and I sat down and I took boards when it was time to take boards. Do not wait past 2 months to take boards. The longer you wait, the harder it will get because the information will start to fade. That is literally one of the things that all my preceptors told me. All of them said the same thing. Do not wait. You know more than you will ever know in your head the day you graduate. So the longer you wait, the harder it will get. Most NP students do take their boards within 60 to 90 days of graduating. That's like the sweet spot. That's when your knowledge is still there, still fresh, and you're still in study mode. You're still used to studying how you did when you were in your program. So for NNP, you're going to go ahead and apply for boards on the NCC website, pay your fee. I made a full video about passing boards if you want to check that out, like how I pass boards, how I study. You'll schedule your test, and then you'll set up your study schedule so that you can hurry up, study, and get done with the hard part. Once you pass, and you will pass, especially if you watch my video and take all the advice that I gave you in that video, you will officially become a certified neonatal nurse practitioner. Those will be your letters after your name, your credentials. NNP/BC. That will come after your name. And nobody can take that away. It's yours. You passed, you did it. Once you pass boards, you'll go ahead and apply for your RN license. If you are applying in a different state, even though I lived in Missouri, I knew I was moving to Texas, so I had to apply for my RN license first and then attach my nurse practitioner license to that. So you get your RN license first and then you get your nurse practitioner license. If you're going to stay in the state that you're already in, then you will just apply for your nurse practitioner license because you already have the RN. Keep in mind, every state is different. So when I'm talking about these steps and what happens and what is required, keep in mind, every state is different. You have to go to your Board of Nursing website according to your state and see what the rules are, see what they require, what you need to have. I'm in Texas and I'm talking about my experience and what I had to do. Yours might be a little bit different. But basically, to get your nurse practitioner license, you will need your RN license. You will need your certification from your NCC exam. You will need your official transcripts sent in from your nurse practitioner program, and you will need fingerprints and a background check done. This part can take anywhere from a few weeks to months. I just got my California license and it took months. I can't even think, when did I apply? I don't even remember when I first applied. I'll have to look it up and I'll put it on the screen. But it took months. I just got notified Friday that I got my California license. So keep that in mind. It can take a long time. In order for me to get my Texas license, it happened pretty fast. They were pretty quick with it. I heard New York can take up to a year. Okay. Apply as soon as you pass boards. Do not wait. When your job comes, you want to be ready. This is something that's so important, and I didn't know to do this until the first time I had to re-credential. After I had already credentialed for my job, every year you have to do it again. So I did not know this. Nobody ever told me this, but this is something that I need you to do. Everything that you have, keep a digital copy in your phone. Go ahead and scan it in. Scan in your license, scan in your NCC exam, scan in your diplomas, scan in all your CEUs that you have. Keep it all in your notes app in a file. That way you have everything organized and ready to go. So when you're getting credentialed, you can just send them that stuff. Like, you don't have to go and look for it every single time. I don't know if that should have been common sense for me, but it definitely wasn't. I did not know to do it. And when it was time to get re-credentialed, after I had already did all that over again, I didn't know I had to do it every year. So I did not save all that stuff. Make sure you save all your stuff in a folder and keep it for the rest of your career. Every time you change jobs, every time you have to get credentialed at a different hospital, you're going to need the same things over and over again. Save them now and thank yourself later. Okay, next step is getting your DEA number. You will need that in order to write for narcotics. This is going to give you your legal authority to prescribe controlled substances. So you actually do need this. I know there's some hospitals, like my old hospital, the nurse practitioners did not write for narcotics, so they didn't have to worry about that. But most hospitals want you to have a DEA. Your current job could have somebody that applies for these things for you. A credentialing specialist who like do everything for you and just kind of contacts you with the things that they need. But not all jobs have that. Some require you to do this all on your own. So just know that you might have to go to the DEA website and apply for your number there. You'll need your active nurse practitioner license for this, your practice address, like where you will be working as a provider, and then the application fee. And it's around $800 for that DEA number in Texas. Once your DEA is approved, you'll get a specialized number and a little card with it on there. So make sure that you keep that because you actually will need it every single time you get credentialed. You want to protect it like you protect your social security number. This is your job. This is your license. This is what you worked hard for. Because if that number gets compromised, this is a real problem for you and for your future. And here's the thing. Your DEA is tied to the address that you put when you initially applied for it. So if you change jobs or you work at a different hospital, you have to update it every time. If you move to a new state, you have to apply for a different DEA license. So If you are thinking about being a travel nurse practitioner, like I'm about to start doing, I actually just got my California license, so I wanted to start taking jobs in California. I'm going to need a DEA for California because the current DEA that I have here, I need to keep it here because I'm going to be keeping my job here. So just think about that. That's the price you're going to pay every time you have to get a different DEA license. I didn't know that either, girl. Okay, so then the next part is the part that takes the longest. It's the most annoying and frustrating part of the whole process because it is the hospital credentialing part. And you have to get credentialed at every hospital you work at. Even after you pass boards, even after you get your nurse practitioner license, even after you get your DEA, you still cannot just walk into a hospital and work as a provider. The hospitals have their own credentialing process and they literally verify everything. Your education, your work history, your references, your license, your vaccines, every nursing license that you have held, all of these things they want to know and they want copies of. And if your vaccines are not up to date, go ahead and take care of them now, sister, because you're going to have that vaccine sheet to let them know you have everything that they're looking for. I'm going to put on the screen a list of things that the hospital will ask you for every single time that you get credentialed at a different hospital. And it's going to vary state by state in different hospitals, but these are all the things that I keep in my little folder so that I can just send them these things. These are all the things that they always ask me for. Nurse practitioner certification, state nurse practitioner license, DEA number, RN license, any RN license that you had before and that you currently have, all of your diplomas, including your BSN and MSN, your official transcripts from your nurse practitioner program, your work history, every job that you have worked at, how long you were there, and if there was any gaps in your history. They want to know the reason why. They want your professional references, usually want 2 to 3 references. They will want proof of your malpractice insurance. If your current job covers your malpractice insurance, that is great. My current job covers my malpractice insurance. They want certifications such as your NRP, your BLS, and any other certifications that you hold. They want an updated CV. So if you're used to a resume, you need to create a CV. It's a little bit different. I didn't know anything about a CV until nurse practitioner school. I only knew about a resume. So that was different for me too. And like I said before, they will want your vaccines and they will want a background check and probably fingerprints. It is a lot, I know. And that's the reason why I say you have to get organized immediately. Get a folder and scan it all in into one folder on your phone so that when they ask for these things, you could just send them right over. That is what I do. I keep my folder and it keeps me sane. They're going to send you a website where you have to answer all these questions, and it's going to be the same questions over and over again. Have you been convicted of a felony? Have you ever had your license taken from you? Have a hospital ever took away their credentialing from you? These are the same questions they're going to ask you over and over again. So if you have any strikes on your license, be prepared to have to explain the reason why. They're going to want to know the reason why. Once you're not a new neonatal nurse practitioner, like now I'm getting credentialed at other hospitals, they want my case logs. So they want to see all my procedures that I've done since I've been practicing in the last year. For new neonatal nurse practitioners, they're going to want your case logs from clinicals. They're going to want to see what procedures have you done as a student. So keep those, because I know like in my nurse practitioner program, I had to keep a case log and write everything down. But once I graduated, I didn't keep up with that case log. I didn't have it anymore. And guess what they asked for? The case log. Here's the real truth though, credentialing takes a really long time. It took me 3 months to get my job fully credentialed. From the day you graduate to the day you can actually start can take up to 6 months sometimes. So just be prepared for that. When I was working on getting credentialed, I moved to Texas in October. I was thinking I was going to be starting in November. I did not even get started in my job until January. So sometimes credentialing can take a lot longer than 3 months, 6 months. So just be prepared for that and have your money saved up. Don't quit your RN job yet because you actually still need to work while you're waiting on your credentialing. You don't want to be unemployed in that meantime, in between time. I definitely was unemployed, and you know the funny thing about it, I was unemployed, and that's how I started my YouTube channel. I have free time to get back to y'all, so I was unemployed for that time, and it was stressful. I had to sell my house. I was sitting here in Texas with no employment. So be prepared for that, especially if you're moving across the country for a new job. Things can happen and your credentialing can get slowed up. So maybe wait until you actually have your real start date and you're going to be starting on that day before you move across the country. Your hospital that you're currently working at will let you continue to work as an RN until you quit, so you don't have to worry about that. My hospital, once I moved here to Texas, they offered me to work as an RN, and baby, I just couldn't do it. Once you become a nurse practitioner, it's really hard to go back and work at the bedside. I know nurse practitioners do it, but I just can't. So I chose to start this YouTube channel instead. Your smoothest, easiest path is going to be to keep your current job and wait on your credentialing to get finalized, to get a start date at your new job, and then move across the country to your new job, or then quit so you can start at a hospital that's close to you. While you're waiting on getting credentialed, go ahead and set up your LinkedIn. When I tell you, I set up my LinkedIn after I passed boards, and I wasn't even looking for jobs yet, and immediately people started reaching out to me. They're looking for you. They are on LinkedIn looking for you. And if you have questions about how to set up your LinkedIn account, I am going to make a video for you guys on that, so make sure you subscribe so that you can get notified when I do make that video. But go ahead and set that up even if you're not looking for a job yet, because they're looking for you. And that's how I got my job that I have now. Credentialing is going to be your last big mountain you have to climb before becoming a provider. I know it seems overwhelming. It was definitely overwhelming to me. It still is, because I just got done doing it again. But if you are organized, you do what I told you to do, you have your folder, things will be a lot easier and they will move a lot faster for you. Just make sure you're staying on top of your emails and you're responding as soon as they send them out to you so that you're not getting behind or missing anything. I want you to remember that every single nurse practitioner goes through this. You will go through it every year. We all go through it. I'm talking about your mentors, the people you admire, me, myself, the ones you watch on YouTube. We literally all go through this process, and you just have to get used to it and be ready and prepared to just send the information quickly. Take it one step at a time. Pass boards first, then get your license, your RN and your APRN, then your DEA, and then deal with the hospital. And if you have a credentialing specialist who is helping you out, thank God for that. Respond to their emails quickly, send them everything, and keep a digital copy of all of your paperwork so that every year you can just send it. Every CEU that you do, you will need to turn it in. So go ahead and start saving those now. When the day comes, I want you to remember how hard you worked to be here. You put in the work. You've done it. You're now a nurse practitioner. You've built her. You've done the work, girl. Congratulations. If this video was helpful for you, please make sure that you go ahead and share it with anybody who needs this information. Make sure you subscribe. I'm going to be making that video for LinkedIn for you guys. Make sure you leave me a comment of any videos that you need me to make. This video was made because somebody asked me to make it. So if you have a video you need me to make sure you leave it in the comments. And if you're looking for more nurse practitioner videos, make sure you watch this video next that I have linked here for you guys. And I will see you next time. Bye.
Baby girl, you are so pretty, pretty, pretty.